Welcome back, Buff Nation. Another episode of Catching Up with the Family. Before I get started, I just got to check. The stars are aligned. Must be a full moon out there. It must be a full moon because somehow we've managed to get none other than Spencer Dinwiddie on the show tonight. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm glad this could finally work. My people spoke to your people, and we got it done, man.
You play it, man. It's really not like that. It's a pandemic.
Exactly, which means you're just sitting at home on the couch.
No. It means there's a lot going on. A lot of people want to, do Zoom calls and whatnot and all that stuff. And I try to, just chill out and be a dad.
Sounds good, man. Well, before we get into it, I just don't want anything controversial coming from you. I don't want any NBA fan bases hating my show or anything like that. So just keep it all tight, okay?
Come on now. I'm not here to be controversial, bro. That's not my style.
Well, if anyone follows you on Twitter, I'd beg to differ. But what's going on, Spence? What's up, man?
Shoot. Nothing. I mean, training every day, trying to stay in shape, trying to figure out what's going to go on with this season and with the virus and all that. And, just living life, being a dad, like I said, it's kind of boring, but it's also kind of keeping you on your toes in a sense.
Yeah, it is a little bit of forced time that us in the basketball industry don't always get, to spend with our kids and family. So it's good that you're down in San Antonio taking advantage of that. How is the little man doing?
Oh, he's good, man. 2 years old, big, super athletic. You're going to be recruiting him soon,
Has he got that step back yet?
Nah, not yet. Not yet. He's still getting to the layups. He's starting those.
Well, we can take that signature whenever you're ready. We'll sign it right now.
Hey, man, he's ready. You sent over the paperwork. We ready.
I like his curls, but just please, just no mustache, no Spencer Dinwiddie.
Right, it's hereditary, dude. You gotta get it. He gonna get the full goatee and everything.
Full goatee's okay, but that thing you came on the campus with was hideous.
Don't do that.
Absolutely hideous. So he just turned 2 about a week ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. Actually 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, 420 Buff Nation. So that's his birthday.
He's got the good hair. Didn't get what you got going on right now.
Nah. That's all his mama. You know what I mean? My hair is nappy. We trying to work on it. Quarantine's doing a number on it, but it's okay though. His mama helped him out with that one.
Shout out to Ariel. Some would say had a better career than you in the black and gold.
Ooh, that's dicey. Better freshman year, yeah, for sure. I'll give it that all day, but career that's dicey. I don't know about that one.
So she was big man on campus, and you were kind of like, well, what's up?
Oh, you funny. You really you're really funny.
So let's jump into it, man. I don't know if you watched Josh's episode last week, but I said I'm big on nicknames. I love nicknames, but one of my biggest pet peeve is self-given nicknames.
Yeah.
Now I wasn't there when you got called the mayor.
Yeah. Oh, we're air quotes.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I wasn't there. So was it self-proclaimed? Was it earned and given? What? You just let me know.
Wow.
Clear the air.
Wow. Come on. First off, I earned everything that I got in the black and gold. You know that.
Facts.
All right.
Facts.
The mayor nickname came from the fans. Like that wasn't necessarily a Spencer style thing to start. In terms of like LA kid thinking like, okay, I'm gonna call myself the mayor. That wasn't, how I approached it. But when they said it and it stuck, I fell in love with it obviously and roll with it. I mean, it all came because a lot of our recruits I ended up knowing. We were recruiting the West Coast pretty hard, especially like Southern California. And so I haven't played there obviously my whole life. I knew all the guys, and then being one of the main players on the team, along with like Askia and obviously Josh and then those guys, and Dre, obviously, as we're getting older after your senior year. That's how I got the nickname, and just roll with it.
So there's still no direct, like you didn't. Who gave it to you? When was I want to know who was.
No, I don't remember the exact person. Like it may have been the dude on Twitter called Goose. It might have been him that did it.
Goose.
But yeah, I just remember the fans doing it, and then I took to it. It wasn't.
You definitely ran with it.
Hey man, got to. I liked it.
So I mean, the people in Boulder love you, and I mean, how did that? How was the feeling from coming on as a freshman? Obviously, sophomore year, you just built into this, bigger than life kind of personality. And then junior year, obviously the success you guys were having, and then the tragedy that happened there. But how was that whole journey as far as your relationship with the fans in the city of Boulder? How was that?
Oh no, that was big time. Obviously I was a under-recruited guy and all those things coming out of high school, and signed on to Colorado, believe we could do special things, which we accomplished pretty much from jump. And being an underdog, you want to be loved. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to have that type of following. You kind of dream of those things. And so having that in Boulder, like it's part of the reason it's such a special place, obviously in my heart and hopefully in their hearts as well. But just, the kind of pairing and the bond and the match made in heaven, in a sense, like, I wanted that love. I wanted to feel, appreciated, accepted, all those things as a basketball player. And, they really gave me that. And, it's why we played our hearts out for them. You know what I mean? And to your credit, you led us to obviously a Pac-12 championship. So, a lot of great things happened during those 3 years, and it was time in my life that it'd be great to experience again sometimes, and it's phenomenal to have had those moments.
Yeah. So let's talk about now on the court and your journeys. Obviously, played a big part freshman year, but those days weren't always beautiful. The first couple games. Your struggle as a freshman, those first couple games, slowly building into, conference play, and the more confidence you got. And then obviously sophomore year, junior year, and truly by your junior year, you truly put Colorado basketball on the map for real. Like we'd had a couple dots there, but you really put us on the map and consolidated us as a top 25 team. How was that journey for you, from freshman year to your junior year?
Shoot. To your point, obviously, struggling the first couple of games, Boyle actually sat me down, was like, I mean, in less colorful language, basically like, get your stuff together, but just reiterate the fact that he believed in me, though.
He believed in you. You were the golden child now. Your leash was like, your leash was Tyler Bay wingspan leash. You
come on, don't even do that, bro. Like, don't even do that. It was not like that. Oh shoot, man. But anyway, before we get into that, he sat me down, basically like, get your stuff together, but reiterated that he believed in me, and that was obviously that was big time because I'm extremely hard on myself, and I'd had some obviously good practices and things like that, so I wasn't expecting to come out and struggle like in the actual games. I expected the games to kind of flow, you know what I mean? And I think every bump in the road is always important. It always kind of, makes who you are. And, I'm not foreign to those things. Like, it's not like my basketball career to date had been like super smooth. So I knew I could get out of it. It was just about kind of getting out of it. And so, the leadership that you guys had obviously helped with that a ton. And then, sophomore year and junior year was all about not looking back. Building on the work, building on the, season that we did have, and winning the Pac-12 championship, and understanding some of the special things that we were going to have a chance to do, both as a unit in terms of winning, and also obviously is trying to get to the NBA. So, that's what that was all about in terms of sophomore and junior. It was just, keeping the pedal to the floor, and keeping it going.
Yeah, you might have been one of the most outspoken, confident guys that I've ever been around with, and I still, to this day, I think that's your best attribute. But you do the work to back it up. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. But it was funny. I was like everyone in America watching the MJ documentary last night, and MJ's talking about ticky-tack fouls in practice.
Yeah.
Any of those, do any ticky-tack fouls come up in your memory in our times?
It depends. I don't remember.
All I know is if you got in the lane, that whistle was blowing. That whistle was going. Coach run, foul. Coach ball, foul. And I remember one day I just had enough. And you do your move, your little hesitation, grab my left shoulder because you're always going right. Always going right. So you do your little hesitation, grab me, and I just had enough. And I just, boom. That's a foul. check up. And that's like, quote for quote what Mike said about Steve Kerr. I just thought, yesterday when I was watching, I thought it was so funny.
I mean, sometimes things happen. When you get in the paint that much, all the time. You know what I'm saying? People try to touch you. They try to, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't mad at it.
That's funny. All right, man. I got a little bit of CU trivia for you.
Oh, man.
Watching the other guys, but I'm expecting some big things from you. I switched it up a little bit. I did do my own little thing a little bit. So.
Okay.
Ralphie or Chip?
Oh, Ralphie.
Dark horse or sink?
Well, when I ate the sink more.
Okay. Half-assed or Salvaggio's?
Salvaggio's, easy. I'm eating the bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on that little roll they had.
Yeah, we used to get that on the bus all the time. Absinthe or the Walrus?
Absinthe.
You never got let in the Walrus. Illegal Pete's or Cosmos?
Cosmos.
Yeah, nice. Now this is okay. Would you rather go on a hike or play video games?
Video games.
Yeah, that's easy. Past the Jays or the Rio?
Most recently, I went to the Rio when I was back there.
Nice. All right, last one. Black, white, or gray jerseys?
Gray for sure.
Gray?
Yeah, gray.
I was watching that Kansas game the other day. Those gray ones that just said Buffs.
Yeah.
They were tough.
No. They were like that.
We need to get those back. We had some old school ones this year, but they weren't gray.
They were white, right?
Yeah. How was that Kansas game?
And then the finish was just
unbelievable. That was probably, besides the Pac-12 championship game, that was probably the most special game. Or actually, we also had a game in Oregon or not in Oregon, at the Keg, but we played Oregon and me and Ski both had like 30. That was pretty cool. But the Kansas game was probably like, for a program-defining win, like the most special one for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So in this quarantine, I don't know if I know you do follow me on Instagram and you're always catching up on what I'm doing, but I've been throwing some stuff on the grill a lot lately, and obviously just experimenting, if you would, with some cooking. I know you think of yourself as a good cook. Has this quarantine brought out any more chef?
Oh yeah, I pretty much cook some. Let's go like every other day.
Okay, so today, what'd you cook?
Well, so for Mother's Day, I actually did 2 different types of short ribs: mac and cheese, rice and gravy, some steamed vegetables, baked beans. So I reheated some of the short ribs with the gravy and stuff for the night. I didn't do nothing special, but yeah, Been doing my thing.
How long the short ribs take?
So short ribs took about 6 hours, but I really did them baked them twice essentially. So one short ribs I smoked for 8 hours, and then the other short ribs it was a total of 6 hours. But really, what I did is I braised them for 3 hours the day before, refrigerated them obviously, then scraped the grease off because with short ribs they're real oily. I scraped the grease off, so you had nothing but the gravy underneath, and then did another 3 hours covered prior to serving. Those were actually really good. They're really good.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh man, hey, I ain't hit a lot of the people, man.
That's not bad. That's not bad. So you decide to leave CU after your junior year. Obviously, you have that injury that cuts things short. But 36th pick, 38th, 38th pick to the Bad Boys. Yeah. Not so much anymore, but Detroit. Just quickly, everyone knows because you talk about yourself so much, but everyone knows everyone knows your NBA journey. But give us a little breakdown of Detroit, G League, Chicago, blah 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 blah. Give us the whole rundown.
Yeah.
How many years is it? 6, 5?
6.
6 years.
Yeah, I'm old now. You know what I mean? It's been a minute. Obviously declared after getting hurt, which was a tough decision. But mentally though, I just wanted to be in the NBA. I just wanted to do it. It wasn't about pick anymore for me. It wasn't about first round pick, lottery pick, any of that stuff. It was just I want to be in the NBA. So obviously I declared, win the second round in Detroit. Those first 2 years were tough because I had never played basically. Spent some time in the G League, but just never really played. And every time I did get in, had a really short leash. So it was about running the offense and, making the most out of your 5 minutes or whatever. Got traded to Chicago.
Who are the vets? Who are the vets on that Detroit team?
Caron Butler, then Tayshaun Prince after that. Drummond was on that team. Josh Smith was on the team.
Anyone
Brandon Jennings, Reggie
in your
Jackson.
Position though? Anyone position that you were going up against?
Kind of Steve Blake was the elder statesman, but he was the backup. So the main people I was going against were Brandon Jennings and Reggie Jackson as the actual starting point guards, and also DJ Augustine a little bit before he got traded to the Thunder. All those guys are really talented. I feel like I did my thing in practice. So, where I really gained confidence my first couple of years was in practice, because obviously I wasn't playing, but I felt like I was, doing my thing against those three guys who are obviously really good and shoot still in the league today, obviously. So, that's where I was like, okay, I know I can play in the NBA. I just need the right opportunity. Got traded to Chicago. Thought that was the light at the end of the tunnel. Got cut shortly thereafter, so it wasn't. Went to the D League, Windy City Bulls. Fortunately, though, that was probably what saved my career, choosing to do that instead of going overseas. Because in the D League, I had a coach, Nate Linzer, who was in training camp with us in Chicago, and he was like, "Look, I know you feel like you played well enough to be in the NBA. You certainly did your thing in training camp and had 2 really good preseason games, but obviously they cut you. So I'm gonna give you the ball and let you do your thing down here." And 10 games later, I was caught up and signed by the Brooklyn Nets, and the rest kind of history. It was gradual. Obviously, it wasn't like I just hit the ground averaging 20 points a game, but unfortunately there were some injuries that kind of cleared the path, and gradual increases in playing time and leash and stuff like that, and now we're here.
How was that? So I can't remember who was the point guard first couple of years in Brooklyn, but when Kyrie gets hurt, obviously this year, and you take it. Who was the point guard last year?
D'Angelo.
That's right. Yeah. So D'Lo gets hurt. You kind of take over. Couple games, you go crazy. Game winners, 30 balls. What was that feeling like? You thought you could do it when you were 17 years old, walking on campus as a freshman. That's just the confidence you had. But then for you to finally do it, what was that? What was that like?
Oh man, that was big time. That was big time. The very first game winner in like big game was against LeBron and the Cavs, and I was just kind of like, once again when we talk about kind of putting your foot on the gas and not looking back, that was that moment. It was like, man, they let me start, they let me play. I went against Bron. Obviously, Bron is Bron, right? Like, to have a game winner against them while they're, an elite level team, it was like, all right, they can't put this back in the box. Like, they're gonna have to play me, and so now I have to just string these games together. Whether I start, whether I come off the bench, whatever it is. You're not gonna, even though it was only one game, even though it was only one opportunity. They weren't gonna take a dude who just hit a game winner against the best team in the league, or second best team in the league, because the Warriors were obviously the Warriors at that time. But and then put them back on the bench and shovel. So now I just have to figure out how to make this happen.
Right. Now this year, obviously, things have changed a little bit. Obviously, they brought in some more players, whatnot. Kyrie comes. Your role again changes, but your production and all that efficiency goes up. So you feel like you're having another good year. He gets hurt, now bam, you thrust it back in. Did you kind of feel like, damn, like, why is – obviously there's bigger things in basketball in this world right now, but this was the time.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Was definitely rolling a little bit, and that would have been fun to take that in the playoffs. But I know our team at full strength has a chance to do special things, especially when KD gets back. Like, we can be a championship contender, and that's the main reason I stayed. Could have took less money and went to like a really bad team and kind of lost a lot, and went through that journey in terms of my career. But I wanted to experience winning. I've been fortunate enough to have a high school championship, a championship in college as well, and would love to have a championship in the NBA as well. So, that's what we were kind of looking for. So I'd rather those guys be healthy than, obviously what we're dealing with now.
How strange was it, the Kenny Atkinson dismissal?
I'd never really been a part of that before, like a coach firing. My coach in high school, same coach for 4 years, same obviously with Tad for 3 years, Stan for 2 years, and he had like all control in Detroit. And then, my cup of coffee in Chicago doesn't really count. But that was definitely weird experience of coaching firing in like mid-season. But it's the NBA. That's the way things roll sometimes, and you just have to adjust.
It seemed like from the outside looking in, the young guys really enjoyed playing for him. Was that fair to say?
Yeah, no, I think Kenny helped out a lot of us a ton. You can even see it obviously when he got fired, and they were asking like Joe and Karras and stuff like that about how they felt. We all owe him a great deal. Me and Joe were in the D League, and seeing his outcasts and all that stuff, and came to Brooklyn and got a certain leash, and we're allowed to kind of be the players we are today, and feed our family and do a lot of different things because he helped us out. So it was big time.
So it looks like Sean Marks, Brooklyn are positioning themselves for a title run, sustained success. Who are some of the alphas in that locker room? I mean, I know you got KD if he's there, Kyrie, DeAndre Jordan. Who are some of the other vets you guys have got?
We got Wilson Chandler, Garrett Temple, also two of our vets. But the NBA is kind of a interesting beast. It really comes down to talent. Typically speaking, the most talented teams are the ones that are left standing. And Kyrie was leading us this year until he got hurt, obviously. But going forward, obviously, of course, KD. Like, KD's the monster. He's top 5. He's best scorer of all time, in my opinion. When you got that type of talent on your team, like he's the guy.
Right. Who's next to in the locker room?
My locker's next to Jared Allen and Actually, it was an empty locker, but it was David Nwaba before he got hurt.
And do you cut your toenails on their seat like you used to do mine?
Man, come on, dude. I cut my toenails on a towel, bro, in
Hey,
front of my
like
locker.
I'm like you're pretty good looking dude, but like your feet.
There's a lot of buckets, bro.
Hey, Jared Allen might be the only guy in the league that lets you do that. He seems like a kid.
No, that's my guy, man. He's actually a really good dude.
Yeah. So now, Spence, talk to me. I mean, you've just grown in strength in the NBA, in your game, off the court. Your business is growing. Talk to me a little bit about the foundation that you've put together and what it's about.
Yeah, so the Dinwiddie Family Foundation, it's all about, helping youth through literacy and, sports programming. The main thing that we've done to date is a gap scholarship. So essentially what happens is, you'll apply for the scholarship and all the other financial aid and things that you would typically get, Pell Grant, et cetera. And then whatever's left, my foundation covers it. And it's a 4-year renewable scholarship for those that, get accepted. And, obviously you have to hit the criteria. So you have to keep a certain GPA and stuff like that. But, that's the main activation that my foundation has put on. And, we're really proud of it.
So basically you'll be getting my kids through college is what you're saying?
If they apply and they got the grades to do it, yeah.
Is there like a promo code I can put in for?
Stop it. Hell no.
So you've done that. It's unbelievable. Also, the way you've branded yourself and this tech guy. What does your Twitter say?
Tech guy with a jumper, baby.
That's it. Tech guy with a jumper. How did you get involved in that? What's your interest in? I know you tried to. What did you do? Try to sell yourself on? I don't know. It's above my head, but. What's the main vision? What's the main vision and what are you trying to do?
I got into blockchain technology really in about 2017. And, what it really means for a lot of different industries is liquidity and transparency. And what I was trying to do is basically open a new asset class. There's stocks, there's bonds, that we're all very accustomed to. There's Forex, there's obviously like oil and all types of things that you can trade, commodities. Basically, the entertainment industry is an asset class that is not open. I'm saying? It's enclosed. So all I was trying to do is basically open it. So I wasn't necessarily selling myself because I wasn't selling equity shares in Spencer. I was selling, basically dividends in my cash flow. So it would be like selling the contract or selling an endorsement or selling, things like that. So, the reason why I wouldn't like quote unquote sell myself is because then you could get into like indentured servitude laws and things like that. That would be kind of weird, but pretty much that's all it was, and I envisioned them trading just like anything else, kind of like fantasy sports, but like real fantasy sports. Think about if you were playing on DraftKings or FanDuel or something like that, but you actually had like a piece of the cash flow to trade. And you weren't just saying like, oh, I believe in Nate or I believe in Spencer, but, you actually own a piece of the performance that, he puts on, and that's what you're trading with. So, just making it real and creating that fan engagement and, starting something new.
Just before you get too cocky, I have a degree from the University of Colorado.
Don't do that. What was your degree in?
Ethnic studies.
Oh my God. Mindy let you do that?
What's life after basketball look like for you as far as day to day? What's your hobbies? What do you want to get into? What do you want to do?
Me? No, I want to ride off into the sunset, man. Like, I want to cook. I want to be a present father. I want to, things of that nature.
It looks to me, it looks like you're positioning yourself for the presidency.
So the president? No way. Hell no.
Well, you were the mayor.
Yeah, but you see the way the age? in 8 years, they look like they aged from like 40 to like 70. They're no.
That's a part of it, man. That's just what it looks like to me. I mean, you were the mayor, now you're in New York. You know, it's kind of what it looks like.
Maybe my mind changes, but shoot, I'm trying to go kick it.
So what? Maybe a cooking show or something like that?
I can see that. That would be fun. Do a cooking show or something. I have you on as my first guest.
Okay, bacon and egg sandwich.
Just like Savaggio.
Spence, if a recruit was watching this, any young kid watching this at home tonight, what would your message be about, you know, coming to play basketball in Boulder for the University of Colorado and Coach Boyle? What's something you'd say to them?
Obviously the fan base is second to none. Going to a school like Boulder allows you to, you know, play in obviously the Pac-12, which is a great conference, and it's produced, you know, the most pros in the last several years, at least to my knowledge. Back when I was in school, it had. You know, obviously Coach Boyle's gonna take care of you. My guy Nate is also there now. You know, so you got, especially for guards, you got a high-level guard, a great basketball mind that's gonna, you know, help you out every step of the way. So, you know, anytime you're trying to get to the league, trying to get to that next level, a lot of times people think about going to the biggest school, but it's really about who you play. You know, if you're in a big-time conference and you're playing against that competition and you go to a school like Colorado and you're the guy that's killing the competition and really putting your mark on the conference as a whole, you'll have a shot to do everything that you dreamed of. So, you know, that's where my dreams came true, in Boulder and at Boulder. And, you know, shoot, I wouldn't have my son if I hadn't gone to Boulder. So, you know, a lot of things for my life happened because of that place, and, you know, I'm extremely grateful for it.
Spence, man, I appreciate your time. Like I said, I think the stars aligned, or a full moon tonight, to get you on here. But you know, it's love, brother. I love you, man, and appreciate your time. And I look forward to you getting back out here to Boulder one day.
Thank you, man. You know, I'll be back out there soon.